So what we're doing today is looking at removing and refitting chrome fork tubes. Seems easy, but here we are and we've set up part one. The reason that we're here is there's actually a mark on the tube, which means the tube is unserviceable. So we need to change the tube. So Kurt, you can just start going ahead with what you do to fix this.
They're not all the same. They all have a different sort of process for each one. More commonly you'll see tubes with a lock nut here, and that is pressed into the thread of the inner tube. That's going to come out. It's not as easy as just unwinding it. You do need to take a bit of material out to make it happen. We get it level. So first, we just take the peening edge off. It's not much, it's just enough to get that peened over edge from the factory apart.
Complete circle, excellent.
There we go. So that edge hits the thread on the chrome and leaves a little bit of a mark which we have to take out.
If we can peer down there, you can see there's a little mark on the threads that we have to now clean up. And we're not being particularly careful of this chrome tube because it's dead, so we'd normally just not clamp a round tube in a bench vise.
No, not at all.
Doesn't do it that much good, but this is just an old tube. We need to save the axle foot, which is the part connected to the bottom of it, because the axle foot is still perfectly good. We just need to replace the chrome tube. You can only buy these tubes as an assembly from Yamaha and other manufacturers. Because we buy the tubes off KYB, who actually make the fork. We can just buy the chrome tube, but then we have to go through this process to unscrew the tube from the foot. And they don't just unscrew. You can cause a lot of damage if you just unscrew it.
We use a slot drill to clean up the threads, and all it does is just take that little bit of edge off. Alright, so we're not going the whole way through, we're just taking the edge off. If you look down there, you'll see it's smoothed off.
Fairly
Bit
dark.
hard to see.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's okay. You can just see it now. Yep. Cool.
Alright. Now the fun part.
Heat the tube up to the temperature of the sun or the temperature of molten lava, whichever is greater. What we're doing here, Kurt, we're screwing a grease nipple into the hole.
A few different ways to do this. This is the way that we have found makes it the most pain-free. We're going to heat this up, fill it with grease, and then heat it again. The idea is that we disperse grease around the thread, loosens up any of the stuff that might be in there.
So then, end of the workshop we were just in, that is the dirty end. So welders, Bridgeport mill buried down the end, lathe. This is just where all the machining and welding takes place. It's a bit of a storage area right now just behind me. We're about to put a new piece of equipment in there. Dry blaster, air compressor, oils, some pressure cleaners on the floor. So getting back to Kurt.
Make sure that's secure.
So what we've used there is just a steel fork seal driver, and we just hold it in the press. We do this for a couple of reasons. That's the best thing to not distort the tube. It also means we're not holding the axle foot and turning the tube, which we could do. If you look up the end of the tube, there's two small holes up the end of the tube. We can put a tool in those holes if we hold the foot and turn the foot. But the problem is the foot, if it's clamped into a bench vise with aluminium jaws, acts as a heat sink. What we're trying to do is get the foot to heat up independently and put heat only into the foot. Right. So this little dude here is infrared heat gun. There we go. This is in degrees C for the rest of the world. We want to see about 150 degrees.
So while it's warm,
Pump in some grease.
hot
You
grease
see the
will come out
grease,
the top of the tube.
hot grease coming out the top. That way we know we've pumped grease through the threads. The biggest danger here is having the aluminium threads of the axle foot binding onto the 1mm pitch threads of the chrome tube. Yeah, almost there. Actually, that's pretty good. Yep, 170. So now you can gently unscrew the foot. We do have a bucket below this to catch the oil and grease and everything else that comes out. But that is the most risk-free way that we've found to do this.
As you can see,
There it's off. You can also see these threads are full of dirt and mud and truck wash from getting them clean. It's very easy to get those 1mm pitch threads and damage them. The actual foot is quite warm, but 150 degrees doesn't change its structure. And that's it. So now we have to get that foot cooled down, cleaned up, get a brand new fork tube and replace the O-ring in the axle foot because there is an O-ring in there and the heat will have definitely affected it. And then screw the new fork tube in. That's it.